Hi ladies and gentlemen, Ungrateful here again. This is going to be a neutral video. I simply thought about discussing these topics. I'm going to talk about two things. The first one is the concept of helping people, and the second one is the concept of slavery. We're talking about classical slavery as well as modern version of slavery or neo-slavery. And I think I'm going to keep things short. There's no need to talk too much. When it comes to the first topic, a simple but strong suggestion that I would like to make to people is to not help people that do not want to be helped, nor do they deserve to be helped. So how do you determine when someone deserves to be helped or doesn't deserve help? That's when someone himself or herself is not putting any work in. I've met people in my life, job-wise as well as, or career-wise as well as otherwise in daily life, that find themselves in problems, knee-deep in huge problems. They have a lot of issues, life is misery, etc., etc. And being willing to help someone, that all depends on you. But it is a nice gesture to help someone get back on their feet and get their life back on track. But what you should absolutely not do is help that person when that person himself or herself is not putting any work in whatsoever. I'll be damned if I stick out my neck for someone that isn't willing to stick out their own necks for their own lives and for their own well-being. I'm not going to carry someone else's load, so to speak. So yeah, that's the message that I want to convey to you, to anyone that's watching this. Okay, it's great if you're willing to help someone that finds himself in a really bad position, but do not help that person if that person himself does not want to be helped. Examples that I can give is, for example, a panhandler or a hobo, a homeless person that begs for food alongside the street. And when you actually give that person food, for example, you bought a Subway sandwich or something and you give that person that sandwich, that person says, could I rather have the money? That immediately makes a bad impression, and that's also one of the reasons, or the primary reason, for why I do not help out the homeless or anything like that. I don't do things like give money to the poor, etc. Because most of the times they're just a bunch of worthless junkies that pretend like they're hungry or pretend that they're hungry and beg for food. But the second you give them food, they actually ask you they ask you for money instead of food. Or they're ungrateful and they just throw the food away right in front of you, and they say, they're picky. As the saying goes, beggars can't be choosers, and that's the saying literally. You viewer, if you found yourself in such a position, what would you do? You come across a homeless person, that person, smells like shit, bluntly put. That person is ungroomed, not well kept at all, you name it, a stereotypical homeless person. And that person is asking you whether you can spare anything. Okay. And that person says, I'm hungry. Okay. You're thinking to yourself, you still have some leftovers that you were planning on putting in the fridge once you get home. But you're thinking, okay, I'll just do a good deed, or I'll just do something nice for someone, and you give them your remainder of food. And instead of actually eating it, the person just either throws it away ungratefully, that hobo, that homeless person, just says, ew, leftovers, I don't want your leftovers. And that person says, can I have some money please? What would your reaction be? Wouldn't you be pissed? Wouldn't you legitimately get upset or angry even? It's the same thing with me, okay? But yeah, believe it or not, I have come across beggars like that. And that's one of the reasons why I don't help others anymore. Again, mankind by default is ungrateful. That's why Christ himself says, do good and do not look back, because the world knows no gratefulness. That's normal. People will always be ungrateful. Mankind as a whole will be ungrateful. I'm not saying that you have to keep tabs on everyone you've helped over the course of your life, and then when things go awry with that person, relationship-wise, for example, if you were friends with someone that you helped once and all of a sudden you're not friends anymore because some heated argument broke out, that you're going to literally bring up all the old situations in the past where you helped that person as a means of holding some kind of moral leverage over him or her. That's inappropriate and it's immoral. Okay, so it's a paradox, to be honest. Now, if you choose to help someone, you help that person for that moment, be over and done with it. But you're not going to, otherwise you're wrong, you're in the wrong by doing so, by doing what I just mentioned, okay? By keeping tabs on every person that you've helped and then throwing it in their face even after years, after 10 to 20 years even. No. That way you shouldn't help people because you're pretty much an insanely huge hypocrite if you do so. But again, my message is do not help someone that doesn't want to be helped. I mean, even me doing what I do, I have come across customers. Of course, I'm not going to list any names or anything like that, obviously. Discretion is paramount to me. But I have come across customers in the past, okay, and these customers, I helped them in the beginning to get their lives back on track. These are customers, they're not the current customers I have. We're talking about a year or two ago. I came across people, for example, that got their life back on track. They were either homeless or similar, and I was busy helping them. I helped them, and by simply giving them advice and even looking things up online for them, etc., etc., etc. But the second I stopped is the second I noticed that these people aren't doing any effort, they're not putting any effort in themselves, or they seem to be unwilling to put in any effort by themselves. And that's when it hit me, oh no, I'm not doing anything for you, not a goddamn thing am I lifting, I'm not lifting a finger, okay, if you're gonna have that attitude. I mean, come on, it's obvious, okay, if you lost your home, you lost your job, you lost everything that makes your life, or that makes up a decent life or existence you lead, and you lose everything, you end up alongside the street, you end up in the gutter, okay, and you're struggling to get by, getting your life back on track, sure, that's no problem, but keep in mind that it's your life, so your survival, your very life and your very life and survival depends on how badly you're willing to push yourself and strain yourself. And since it's your life on the line, it's your ass on the line, then it goes without saying that you should literally work yourself to death if need be, because no one else is going to do it for you, and even if you come across someone that's crazy enough to do that for you, no one should do that for you. Like I said, that's normal. I mean, it's as if I, for example, I'm sorry. Hello. Ja. Ja, die afspraken kunnen jullie komen. Kan niet eerder? Oké. Nee, daarom vroeg ik. Maar ja, men kan maar je antwoord geven. Die zegt, je gaat teruggebeld worden. Dingen is irritant. Ja, oké. Nee, we houden het dan tussen 1 en 2. Goed? Is goed, dank u. Ja. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. In any case, I'm not going to drift off topic. Yeah, like I said, if I, for example, had a friend like that, someone who ended up alongside the street, and I'm willing to help that person again, etc., get back on his feet as an employer, I can say, okay, I'm going to help you out. You know, no one wants to hire you because you have a criminal record or because you don't have enough money to apply for a job and you can't pay bus fare or transportation costs, etc., etc. I'm going to hire you. What you definitely should not do is if you hire that person slacks off and that person doesn't act the way he should behave. I mean, in that case, no. I'll openly throw your ass out. I'll tell you to literally go back to living alongside the street, because in that case, with such a deplorable behavior, you do not deserve help with such a behavior. So yeah, my point is simply that you should not help anyone that does not deserve to be helped. And who doesn't deserve to be helped? Someone that's not willing to help himself or herself. If someone isn't willing to strain himself or herself to the utmost of his or her ability based on whatever they're trying to accomplish, then you as a third party or as a neutral party should definitely not help them. If they're not willing to do that themselves, I mean, if they're not willing to improve their lives and better themselves, then they don't deserve they don't deserve assistance in doing so. So yeah, honestly, it's in my nature, honestly, sometimes to help people like that, but I've seen off of it, okay, and I learned things the hard way, and that's all. Honestly, that's also why I don't help people anymore. Okay, I basically have a mentality along the lines of, go fuck yourself. It's your life, your problem, not mine. I took an oath to myself that I was going to be selfish. I was going to be a lot more selfish. I think a good while ago, a short while ago. In any case, a while ago, and I'm sticking to that. I'm not helping anyone. Okay, if someone finds himself in huge problems or anything like that, then you should help yourself. Of course, if it's a customer of mine and a person is paying me to help him or her, then that's a different matter. But I'm talking about on a pro bono basis, let's just say as a favor. Now, don't help anyone because there are plenty of people like that, unfortunately, in the world. Well, it all depends on whether you really want to call them people, arguably, because with such a deplorable mentality, I don't even know if you can call them people or if they deserve to be called people. But in any case, no, don't help anyone that does not want to be helped. If there's some junkie alongside the street that just moans and groans about how he wants to better his life, then he should really put everything on the line to do so. But if he's not willing to better his own life, then if he's not willing to make his own life better and to bust his ass, so to speak, in order to accomplish that, then he does not deserve help, nor should anyone help them. So no donation to him, no giving him money. And I also advise this to people. Don't do things like give in general. Don't do things in general like give homeless people money or help people out that find themselves in such a bad position, unless you know for sure and you can notice that these people genuinely are trying to help themselves and just need a helping hand to make things easier. I mean, the world, if you just look things up online, you'll find so many examples of fraud, of people taking advantage of other people's goodwill. Homeless people or people that pretend to be homeless, not really being homeless to begin with, and just going home at the end of the day, collecting maybe $100 in tips from people who actually think that they're helping someone that needs help financially. No, nor should you give it to some homeless person that is a junkie in disguise and is just going to smoke a doobie with it, but is just going to use that money as a doobie. No. Okay, don't help people, generally speaking. The message might sound harsh, but it's not. Based on everything I said, based on all the aforementioned, my recommendation stands. Do not help anyone. Don't help people unless they've proven that they're worthy of help in that regard. So yeah, that's it. I'm going to cover the other topic in a separate video. Bye.